Sometimes you finish a book, love it. Other times it finishes you. These are books that I believe will haunt me for the rest of my life. I am saying that, of course, in a good way. All of these books were rated anywhere from 4 to 5 stars. I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. This one starts off with 40 women who live underground in a cage guarded by men. Now we follow the youngest of the women who's trying to plan out their escape. It is not a book that will give you all the answers, and I feel like that is why it's so haunting. I just highly recommend this book, okay? I honestly feel like it has altered my brain chemistry. One of my favorite horror novels of all time, Bird Box by Josh Malerman. Yes, if you've watched the Netflix adaptation, you should still pick up the book. There is so much more going on in the book. This is set in a world where there is something out there that human beings are just not meant to see. We follow a handful of characters who are trying to survive. Every single thing I've read from Josh Malerman, I've been a huge fan of. He is definitely an auto-buy author for me. I feel the same way about Incidents Around the House in Pearl, one of my favorite books of last year, out by Natsuo Kirino. This book is such a mind bender. You will not be able to adequately prepare yourself for this book. Basically, this follows a group of women who work for this overnight lunch packaging facility. One of them ends up taking the life of her husband, and then the rest of them try and help her out. Now, I definitely talk a lot about unhinged main characters. Masako is that girl, though. I've never been so scared of a fictional character, I'll tell you that. A short but very impactful read, Goddess of Filth by V. Castro. This one starts off with a group of teenage girls trying to perform a seance when the quietest, shyest one in the group starts displaying really disturbing behavior. Hands down, my favorite possession story I have ever read. My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. This one follows a 15-year-old girl named Vanessa who ends up in a relationship with her 40-something-year-old teacher. And then you follow throughout her life. I feel like this book does such a great job of showing the amount of damage these predatory relationships can cause. A side note, but this was one of the first audiobooks I had ever listened to, and what a great way to consume this story. This is narrated by Grace Gummer, which is Meryl Streep's daughter, if you didn't know. I felt like she did a phenomenal job having this innocence in Vanessa's voice when she's 15. And then when she's 26 and she has this lower register, and I feel like you can just really tell the negative impact that this has had on her life. I don't know. I thought it was a phenomenal audiobook, and I highly recommend consuming this story that way. The Devil Takes You Home by Gabino Iglesias. This one follows Mario, who is in crippling debt after his daughter's cancer diagnosis. His life is in complete shambles. His marriage is really on the rocks. So he decides to take on the job as a hitman to try and pay down some of this debt. Now, what he is surprised by is how well he takes to the violence, but he's agreed on one final job. This may be the most dangerous, but it is the highest paying job he's ever had, and then he's determined to get his family back. This story is brutal, and no one is writing grief quite like Gabino Iglesias. And finally, since The Reformatory was on part 1, I felt it was appropriate to put The Between by Tananarive Due on part 2. This one follows a man named Hilton who at 8 years old almost drowned until his grandmother jumped in, saving his life, and then it ends up taking hers. Now he's an adult, definitely saying things, and he does believe that death is now coming for him. This story is a complete trip. I read this years ago, and it has still stuck with me.